Today, we at StudPro 6.0 are prepped and ready to unveil series of knowledgeable sessions with two participation of seasoned professionals. In today's session, two outstanding individuals are all set to take you through the wonderful avenue of interview mastery. To officially commence this session, I would like to invite Ms. Nipuni, the chair of StudPro 6.0, to deliver her opening remarks. Ms. Nipuni, the spotlight is yours.
Thank you so much, Dimaka. So, good evening, all. A big welcome to the fifth event of our journey, Interview Mastery, organized by StudPro 6.0. And it's great to see you all here, excited to learn about mastering interviews. So before we get into today's session, let's take a moment to look back at our journey so far. So StudPro is more than just a project. We are a team that helps fresh graduates and undergraduates get into their working world. We have done 4 sessions already as the StudPro 6.0 team, and they have been really successful. So we started with a session to introduce StudPro, letting people know what we are all about. Then we had a 3-day webinar session series called Branding Yourself. This series showed how to stand out and get a better job opportunities. And we talk about personal branding and how to make yourself shine among other job candidates. So our third event was called as Know Your Industry. We invited 4 experts to talk about different industries and clear up any confusion about them. After that, we had fourth event. We named it as Career Pathways. We explained different job roles and what you need to do to succeed in them. So, and now we are here for our fifth session, Interview Mastery. So interviews can be nerve-wracking. But today we are going to make them less scary, actually. So we will cover both technical interviews and general ones. For that, we do have 2 esteemed speakers. Dimalka will introduce them. So until that, let me tell their names. We have Mr. Uday Chaturanga and Mr. Hosni Feroz with us. So in the next hour, get ready to learn about interviews and how they work and how to do well in them. So this is not just a discussion. So please engage with us. Please send your questions to our chat. Please unmute your mics and ask the questions. We will give you a Q&A round. So please ask questions. They will give you the answers. So let's start the journey. Yes, thank you so much. Over to you, Dimak.
Thank you, Ms. Nipuni. As you mentioned, the journey has just started, a long way to go. Now let's move on to the most anticipated part of today's session. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are privileged to have not one, but 2 distinguished speakers who have dedicated years to their respective fields, bringing unparalleled expertise and insight to the table. First, let me introduce Uday Chaturanga, a seasoned tech lead with 12 years of experience in driving innovation and excellence in technology projects. With expertise in software development, cloud computing, AI, and more, Uday excels in translating complex concepts into actionable strategies, fostering collaboration and ensuring timely budget-friendly project delivery. Join us to gain insights from his cross-domain proficiency mentorship and commitment to the continuous learning. Now, allow me to introduce Hosni Feroz, a seasoned talented acquisition specialist, headhunter, and technical IT recruiter with 12 years of experience. Hosni is a talented acquisition specialist, headhunter, and HR operation manager, experienced in both IT and non-IT recruitment. Hosni is well versed in modern recruitment strategies, utilizing technology and his extensive network. Join us to learn from his expertise in recruitment strategy, HR operations, and more. Ladies and gentlemen, to conduct the technical interview session, let me invite Mr. Uday. Mr. Uday, over to you.
Thank you, Dimalka. So good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining me today, this important discussion on mastering technical interviews. So as a university student, you are standing on the treasure hall of exciting journey into the professional world and mastering the art of technical interview of crucial step towards securing your dream job. So next 30 minutes, I will be guiding you through the comprehensive approach to facing technical interviews with the confidence. Let me share my screen. Developer, please allow me the few minutes. I'm having a few
Yes.
technical issues. Share my screen. Just all right. So I guess you all can see my screen right now.
Yes, Mr. Uday, you are audible and visible now.
Okay, thank you. So for the today, so thank for giving me the opportunity to give some advice for you. I'm Uday Chaturanga Vikramasekara and Microsoft certified for architecture, as well as I'm technology lead at Fortitude for the engineering team. All right. So for the think about what we need to master in your interview session, right? Like university student or either from technical background, right? Okay. Today I'm going to talk about this kind of a structure. This is the agenda. So I'm introducing what about this and how to present yourself well. I'm emphasizing key talents and how to face your interview confidently. Most of the part will be uh, explained by the HR technical person from that session. And so the facing confidence, so understand importance of the interview and how to research your position. So before you go in, how to research the company and your position, and so align the skills and experience with that the related technical skills and how to navigate technical interview likewise. So then how to solve your problem, explain throughout the process, and finally how to ask the thoughtful questions. Then I will wrap up the session. All right. Right. So this is about the mastering technical interview. Right. So presenting ourselves well. So what is that? So when it's come to facing technical interviews, presenting yourself well is a first step to making your listening provision. Right. So remember, your nonverbal cues often speak louder than words. Right. Your nonverbal cues. Right. That often speak louder than your words. Right. Here are some key points. Let me show you. Here are some key points. So appearance, body language, and the active listening communication, and evaluated pitch, and demonstration enthusiasm, and likewise and eye contact and body language. Those are the things when you are facing whatever interviews you are facing that I am focusing technically, bit technically. Right. So the presenting on self well. So appearance and body language, the main part of your interview session, right? So you have to dress up apparently for the interview and align the company culture. That's kind of a crucial point, important point, align with the company culture. And where is the formal with smart casual attire, or make sure that you are comfortable with the confident what you are wearing, and maintain your good posture. And likewise, and firm handshake and genuine smile, and get that can be set positive tone right from the beginning. And the important thing is active listening, right? So when it's come with the technical interview, so there may be kind of a bit technical, right? So based on your what you have learned and what you have experienced during your projects, and some kind of a technical research with you, right? So that during the interview, active listening is a paramount. That listen carefully and to the answer your question and posed by the interview, and take a moment to collect your thoughts before this responding, right? That's important, because when an interviewer asking a question, be technically or whatever, so take your time to throughout before the responding, right? That's no issue when you are middle of the interview. Communications was clarity, consistency, and if your question is doesn't clear, right? I guess you all can hear me. So I'm in the intermittent. I facing some problem with my internet connection. Can you
Yes,
all?
Mr. J, yeah, audible enough. So
Okay.
it's fine.
All right. Thanks. Guys, I will turn off my video because the internet connection is for me right now. Is that okay for you all?
Okay, sir.
Yes, it's
Okay. All right. Okay. Thanks. Okay. So I was talking about active listening and communication. And next thing is how to elevate your pitch, right? So elevate your pitch. So when you're introducing yourself and your background, likewise, so you may get some points, more important point from the HR session. And for like tell me about yourself and experience, skill, likewise. And so then we have to do some demonstrating enthusiasm. So that's enthusiasm means you have to show your genuine enthusiasm for the role and the company. So what you are going to apply, you have to show your enthusiasm, and you have to prepare technically what steps you have to take as example. So if you're going to software engineer or QA, intern as a QA, so let's say it's a QA position, and you have to show the genuine enthusiasm. Likewise, so let's say that's company kind of so as examples, our company mostly delivering solutions, digital solutions for the ERP solution as well, custom solution as well. So if it is you are going to apply for the ERP related QA position, then that's in that point you have to think about how do I am going to analyze those things, right? Because ERP solution is a kind of a pre-built solution. There's nothing to do some kind of QA for you at that point. So in that case, you have to study, you have to analyze kind of a techniques they are using. So either automate testing or manual testing or whatever, what kind of tool sets, and you have to analyze those things. Then, so based on your role and what you have experienced with your projects and your academic life, then you have to show the enthusiasm for that, right? So express your interest in the company's missions, values, and recent achievements, and likewise. And eye contact, body language, those will be talk with the HR session in the next session. And like maintain eye contact and confident likewise, right? Okay, then so what are the key talents you have to emphasize during the some interview session basically? So I'm talking with the generally and as well as technically. So you have to first you have to identify your strength, right? Once you have established the strong first impression, and so it's time to showcase your unique strength and the talents. Right, next, this part of the interview allow you to highlight your capabilities and demonstrate why you are ideal candidate for this position. And here is how you craftively emphasize your strength. So before interview, take some time to reflect your strength and talent. Consider your technical skills and soft skills and specific achievements set of your part. And these could include problem solving ability and maybe leadership skills and the programming language or project management experience. Likewise, so due to your academic life and your research project and your final project likewise, right? Then you have to prepare relevant examples. So as example, the most of you are using the GitHub, right? Then you have to, for each strength, you have to identify, prepare specific example that showcase how you are demonstrate this talent in the real world situation, right? So either from your final project or whatever, you have to show the some real world situations, right? Either from GitHub or whatever you have done inside the kind of repository. And this is come method called STAR method, right? So STAR method is kind of it's contain situation, task, action, and result to structure your response, right? So when you are going to technically explain your project and yourself, your talents relating to your academic life, so that STAR method, if you are using that STAR method, that would be read. The first key point is the situation. You have to identify the situation. Then you have to make a task what you are going to showcase them, right? Then you have to action on those tasks. Then finally give the outcome result, right? Okay. So then, so once you prepare the relevant example, then you have to align with the job description. So it's called JD, job description. So tell you example to align with the job description. So highlight the skills and qualities of the company seeking the candidate in technical way, and by drawing parallel between your experience and the role requirement, right? So you show the you have done your homework and understand what your position entails. Likewise, you have to draw something, your JD. You have to build something in your JD. So what technical skills you have, again, it's like a certification, professional certification, or from the academic. So those should be aligned with your job description, what you are going to apply here, right? Then you should be specific and quantify. So when you're discussing your achievements, so you have to be specific about your challenges, what you faced, and the action you have take overcome them. So let's say, so during your final project, let's say you got some challenging points, right? So then you have to talk about, you have to mention those the actions you have to took the overcome those things. Likewise, that will be great things while you are technical person, because in the industry, real industry, we are expecting some kind of challenging positions, right? Because in current industry level, this is the AI era actually, right? So any company doesn't require to spend more than 2 months to develop some kind of a solutions, right? So I mean some kind of a middle requirement solution. So other than it maybe take some time based on the requirement, but so we are delivering phase by phase each project phases, right? So when it's come the phase 1, phase 2, or likewise, so the companies, our client doesn't like to take much more time with this AI era, because they know very well than us how the technologies evolves, right? So in that case, you have to show some action you have to took to overcome your challenges while you are, let's say it's your academic life or whatever program, the projects you have done, or any kind of a professional certification. So whenever possible, quantify your accomplishment, right, with number of percentages, right? So this will be added to your credibility, your claims, and provides a clear picture of your contribution, right? Then adaptability and learnings. So emphasize your willingness to ability to learn new skill, because with the technology evolves, today if you are coding something with your GitHub Copilot or whatever, .NET or Java, whatever, in the next day, it won't be the technology that's leading the technology, right? Then you have to learn new skills, right? You have to showcase. So you have to emphasize your willingness to ability to learn new skills, likewise, and rapidly evolving the tech landscape, and adaptive is a high value trait for you. And yeah, those are the emphasizing key talent you have to emphasize during your technical interviews, right? So let's see. So how to face in interviews confidently. So most of the part will be covered by the Hosni from HR interview session, master session, right? So facing interview confidently. So confident is the key actually, right? Research command interview questions. So you have to research some command interview question and practice your responses, right? Prepare practices and positively those questions and the practices, right? So remind yourself your accomplishments, capabilities, and your positive self affirmations to boost your confidence, right? Confidence is the constraints of your success interview. And the preparation is key. So let's see some outlines. The preparation is the key. So more prepared you are more confident. You will feel. So as I said, research common interview questions and also should be relevant to your key role, what you are going to apply, and it should be relevant to the company's culture and their mission and vision. Right? Let's say as an example, if you are going to apply as a data analytics, right? Then you have to think about what is the latest one, the latest things in the industry right now, right? What the patterns they are using, what kind of pattern they are using, what kind of um, data structures and the analytics tool and the ETL process. Likewise, there are much more technical words there, but you have to research those, right? And those should be relevant to that relevant company, what you are going to apply, right? So then once you've done those, review your reason thoroughly and practice your responses. So the more your practice will be, more you're compatible. You will be more comfortable and become with your own story, right? Then practice positive self affirmations, right? So silence your inner critic can replace with positive self-talk and remind you yourself your accomplishment and skills and the unique qualities and that you make valuable candidate. So repeating positive affirmations, you help boost your self confidence and put you in the right mindset, right? Then embrace the 3 Ps, right? 3 Ps stand for prepare, practice, positively, right? Prepare by researching companion role, as I said. So understand your own strength, right? And practice your response, common interview questions, and refine your delivery and timing, and maintain a positive attitude through the approach and interview and opportunity to showcase what you are know rather than test or past, right? Then visualize success. So visualization can be a powerful tool. So imagine yourself walking into the interview rooms, response and confidential questions and engaging in the meaningful conversations, right? The visualization success can be help reduce to anxiety and create a sense of familiarity with your process, right? Then you have to visualize success. So finally, focus on what you can control, right? So anxiety often seen stream from worrying about things beyond your control instead of focusing what you can control, your preparations and your mindset and your response. Those are the things you can control: your preparations, your mindset, and your response. You are the responsible for the control those things, right? Okay, let's move on to the next thing. So understanding the importance of interviews. That's a so interviews are a bridge between your resume and the job offer, right? So they allow employers to gauge your interpersonal skills and cultural fit and the problem solving ability, and the well-rounded candidate should sign not only on a prepared but also in a person. So interviews are critical bridge between your qualifications on paper and your potential contribution to company, right? Basically, when you apply in the resume, so we can see your paper qualification, paper and your qualifications through the paper, right? So we have provide some unique opportunity to employ to assess your interpersonal skills and cultural fits and the problem solving ability. So let's explore something. As you can see, so assessing soft skills, right? So while your resume showcase your technical skills and the qualification, interviews allows employee to gauge your soft skills as well, like communication, teamwork, adaptability, and leaderships. And these skills are often equally important as a technical expertise, especially in a collaborative work environment. Because so when you are applying for a job, so that's not a single task for you, because you have to collaborate with your work environment, to achieve something, deliver solution, because in the industry, right, in the presently, the delivering digital solution is the key point to fit with this AI era or whatever digital era, right? So that's why, especially in the collaborative work matter, right? Then cultural fit, the company's value candidate who align with their values, culture, and working styles. And also interviews provide a chance to elevate if your personality and the work ethic match the company's aims. The strong culture fit leads to better job satisfaction and performance. So while you are in the even in the technical interview as well. And the important thing is problem solving ability, right? So in the technical interview, you particularly assess your problem solving skills and your ability to think critical under the pressure, right? Think critically under pressure, right? Then how you approach challenges and explain through the process, you can reveal your analytics abilities, which are highly prized in the tech roles, right? So interaction and communication, we already talked about some communication skills. So interviews also allows you to demonstrate the ability to articulate a complex idea clearly and concisely. How will you present your truth reflect how well might collaborate with the colleagues and convey your ideas to different stakeholders, because the collaboration work is the important thing in the industry rather than working with the individual. You may work with your projects individually or whatever as a group projects. It doesn't matter. But when you come to industry, the key point is the collaborative work. So how you deliver your portion, so with others portions, right? And personal touch. The resumes and application might seem impersonal, but in the interview offer the chance to employee to connect with the person behind the qualifications to understand your motivation, aspiration, and what drives to your excel, right? Then mutual evaluation. So remember, so interviews are two-way street, right? They allows you to evaluate if the company align with your career goal, values, and the explanation. And this mutual assessment ensure that both parties are in training into the preparation of the benefit everyone involved, right? So that mutual evaluation should be there, right? So research the company and position, right? Right. So delve into the company's history, the values, recent news, and the projects, and understand the job description thoroughly, and tailor your response to align with the company's needs and culture. And this preparation shows your genuine interest and help you stand out, right? So we have 5 key points here. And demonstrating genuine interest, we already talked about bit. When you've done your projects and homework, you show that you are genuinely interested in the company, likewise. And you should align it to your response. Anyone to want to talk? Is there any question? You can. Dimalka, am I good to proceed? Oh, is there any?
Yeah, yeah, good to proceed. I think that was a mistake.
All right,
from
okay,
someone.
no worries. Okay, so we are talking about align your response and incorporate your research into your interview responses. right? When you can relate your experience and skills to your company goals and project or values, you demonstrate your ability to be a valuable contributor. This alignment creates a compelling narrative, right? So asking thoughtful questions, to ask insightful questions about your company and role shows you are thought deeply about your potential contributions, and it also signals that you are considering a long-term fit, right? This engagement can be leave a last impression, right? And you should avoiding surprises. So researching company that can be help you to avoid in surprise during the interview. So if the company follows a particular development methodologies or use a specific tool, you can refresh your knowledge or practice using those tools ahead of time, right? Before you face in your interviews, right? As example, if you are going to apply as a QA engineer, right? Quality assurance engineer, and you should know what are the methodologies the companies are following to uh, access their products, right? Either from automated or manual or whatever tool sets, because most of the companies are in the tech companies are using multiple tool set for the each project, right? But however, you have to practice. If you are going to apply as a QA engineer, you have to practice at least a manual and the automated testing tool, right? In that case, may be helpful for you to the avoiding surprises while you are during the interview session, right? Okay, then finally we have source of information. So source of information like so explore the company's website and blog post, press release, and recent news article, and likewise. Okay. So aligning skill and experience that it carefully review job description and identify the skills and qualification required to align with your own experiences with these requirements. And so let's delve into the why alignments matter and how you can effectively showcase it. So demonstrating relevance. When you are demonstrating relevance, that means you are highlighting experience that directly related to the job requirement to demonstrate your suitability for that role, what you are going to apply. And also it shows that you are not only read the job description, but also understand what the position entails, right? And then you should customize your response. Right? Customizing your response. So tell your response to reflect the skills and qualification company seekings while you are in the technical interview. So when you draw a parallel between your experience and the job description, you are effectively presenting yourself as a candidate who's well prepared for the role, right? Then addressing potential concerns. So if you are lack certain qualification of experience, so probably you may, because you are still the academic life, and so whatever you align with your skills allow you to address the potential concerns positively, proactively, right? Then explain how your existing skill set can bridge any gaps and how your willingness to learn make you a valuable asset, right? So creating a comprehensive narrative. So be weaving together your past experience and skills. We have a certain cohesive narrative that paints a clear picture of your journey and capabilities, right? So standing out, so demonstrating strong alignment between your skills and job requirement. So definitely from other candidates, why you differentiate from other candidates, and it showcases how that you have taken the time truly understand the company's need and how you can fulfill them, right? Okay, when you are navigating a technical interview, so technical interview assess your problem solving skills, as I said, right? And the technical knowledge and approach to challenges. Those are the key points when we ask at the technical interviews: the problem solving skills, technical knowledge, and the approach to challenges. Because when you comes to industry, so there's a no theory kind of things. There's a challenges every time you're facing the challenges, right? So they might include coding tests, whiteboard sessions, or case studies, and then you have to brush up beyond relevant technical concepts and practice problem solving regularly, right? So as an example, we also deliver solution called with the AI tool and the low code, no code tool, because we are practicing, we are giving some practices and we are giving some solutions. We are delivering digital solutions to our customer using no code, low code platform as well, right? So in that case, you have to practice, you have to brush up in the so relevant technical concepts and the practice problems all in regularly, right? Which kind of tools that they are using and how we involve with that, right? So as example, as I said, so there's a tool called platform called Microsoft Power Platform, right? With the Microsoft Power, it's kind of a low code, no code tools and practice in your problem solving skill and the deliver solution with the in a short term period. And likewise, you have to find out the tool sets and the practice them, right? Most of them are as a freely available for you to practice and brush up your relevant technical concepts, right? So technical interviews are designed to access your problem solving skills, ability, as I said, and technical knowledge and challenges. And they often involves with the coding test as well and the case studies. That's the important point, case studies, right? So let's explore how you can navigate this interview efficiently. So we have 6 key points here to understand the format, right? So you have to familiarize yourself with specific format of the technical interview, right? So that will be, there will be coding challenges, algorithm question, system design scenario. So knowing the format helps you to prepare coding loop, right? You have to know the understanding the format, what you are going to face it, right? Then you have to brushing up on the fundamentals, right? So technical interviews often involve questions related to data structure algorithm, preview concept of the like array and the linked list, trace, sorting algorithm, and likewise there may be some kind of fundamentals, right? So you have to practice coding exercise on platform like GitHub or whatever. There's a much more hacker rank and lead code. Likewise, there's much more code platform you can practice. So it's not either from kind of a low code platform like a Microsoft Power Platform and the Google Sheets and the Google and AWS also providing some kind of a low code platform. And that is a trend because we are in the AI era. So with the AI era, we don't write much code, right? But we are understanding the solution and deliver solution fast. We understand the problem and the pain points of the customer, and we should design a solution fast, right? So that's why. So you may probably mess with the ChatGPT as well. You know, that's a generative AI component, right? Likewise, you have to think about what is the latest technology you can deliver solution once you are in the company as a company employee. So what are the things you can deliver your solution in the fast way and but with the quality. Right. Practicing your problems, that's a regular practice is the key. The solve a variety of coding challenges, improve your problem skills, and like your participation kind of a hackathon or whatever the online platform you can participate, and focus not only the finding solution but also optimizing the code and handling edge cases likewise, right? Okay, communicate in your thought process during technical interview. Communicate your thought process clearly, explain your approach before diving into code, right? Don't try it at all the time diving into your code, but this is not showcase your logical thinking, but also allows you to the interviews to offer guidance if you get this stuck, right? Communication, your thought process, and how you handle the whiteboard session. In the whiteboard interview, think cloud as a solve a problem. So break down the problem into smaller steps and draw a diagram if need, and write clean and organized code, and focus on the clarity rather than speed, right? Don't be hurry. It should be clarity, right? And case studies and system designs. For all you are involved in the architecture or system design or practice creating the scalable solution, you have to understand trade-offs and discuss pros and cons and demonstrate your ability to design the real world scenario, right? And then you have time management, right? Manage your time efficiently, effectively. Don't get stuck on a single problem for too long, right? If you are encountered difficulty, don't hesitate to pivot to another problem and return later with the fresh insights. And you have to handle your stress. So in the technical interviews, you can be nerve-wracking, right? But remember that interviewers doesn't expect perfection, right? You are interested, they are interested in your problem solving approach, how you adapt to challenges, problem solving approach, and how you adapt to your challenges. That's the key point. All right. And so finally, you have to prepare for your technical questions. The technical question can range from data structure algorithm to coding challenge, and leverage online coding platform to practice and gain confidence, and break problem down, communicate your thought process throughout the process, and don't hesitate to ask clarifying questions if need. Right, so let's see some key points, review your key concepts, right? So identify the technical areas that are likely to be covered in the interview. As I said, data structure algorithms and programming language, etc. And review your concept truly and ensure you have solid foundation. And Patrice is realistic questions, right? So utilize online platform like code signals and the GitHub. Like I said, there's much more, HackerRank likewise. And these platform offer a wide range of realistic technical questions that mimic what you might encounter in your actual interview, right? Or before you go into the interview, right? So we start with basics, right? So begin with the basic question and gradually progress to a more complex one, right? This gradual approach helps you to build confidence and adapt to the different types of the problems, right? And understand big O notations. So understand basics of time and space, complexity, analyze using big O notation. This knowledge helps you to optimize your solution and showcase your ability, right? Efficient code. Then learn from solutions. So after solving problem, so study the provided solution, community discussions, right? So this exposes you to alternative approach, the best practices, and enhancing your problem solving skill, right? So practice whiteboard coding we already talked about, and explore edge cases that also we have talked about. So when you solve in problems, consider edge cases and boundary conditions, right? So demonstrating that you have thought about the scenarios, so cases you have attention details and toughness, right? And develop patterns. Okay? As you solve more problem, you will notice patterns in how certain types of problem you are solved, right? So develop a mental library of problem solving pattern that you can adapt to the different situations, and seek feedbacks, right? So if possible, so partner with your friends for mentor for mock interviews, right? And constructive feedback helps you to refine your approach to an identified area for improvement. All right. And so problem solving skill and explain throughout the process. So employers value not only correct answers, but also you approach to solving problems, right? So walking the interview through your thought process, right? Even you are encounter stumbling blocks and logical thinking, adaptability, and highly appreciated, right? So once you got the problem, break it down to the few steps, few stars, right? So when you present with the problems, take a moment to break it down into the smaller components, right? So understand the problems requirement and constraint and the potential edge cases. Likewise, you have to break it down to the smaller components and then plan your approach, right? So before diving into code, as I said earlier, so outline your strategy for the solving the problem. So will you use specific algorithm, or are these optimization opportunities, or clear planning demonstrate, or structured approach? Likewise, outline your strategies, right? Then explain your through process, right? So as you work in through the problem, explain thought process out loud. So articulate your decision, assumptions, and the strategies you are employing, and this allow you to the interviews to follow your logic and discuss trade-off, right? So if you encounter multiple ways to solve the problem, so discuss the trade-off of each approach, right? This shows that you are not just solving a problem, but you are considering the implication of your solution, right? Then incremental progress, right? Shows how you are making incremental progress and narrate each steps you are take, especially so if you are breaking the real problem smaller tasks or implementing multi-step solution, right? And code neatness and clarity. So that's very important process if you are doing the code, writing the code with your interview session. So when you start writing code, prioritize the neatness and the clarity. You use meaningful variable names and the formatting standard variable names, and clean your code, demonstrate your code in disciplines, and make it easier to the interview to follow, right? Then consider test cases, right? So before finalize your solution, think about the test cases, right? Run through the different scenarios and ensure your solution works in the various situation. Likewise, you have to think about the test cases, right? Then you have to ask the thoughtful question. So towards the end of the interview, you will likely be asked you have any question. This is your chance to show your interest and critical thinking, right? So once you are in the technical interview. So out about the company's culture, team dynamics, and growth opportunity, likewise. And right, that will be shows interviews as powerful way to showcase your interest and engagement, critical thinking, and demonstrate your research, right? Ask a question that demonstrates you have done your works, your projects, and inquire about recent company developments, projects, or initiative that you have come across during your research, right? Right. So then you have to clarify the role expectations, right? So ask about a specific expectation for the role, and that would be responsible to entire daily basis. And how does the company envision contribution? And so you are eager to understand your potential impact and company culture and values. This will be described during the HR interview master session. And team dynamics, ask about the team structure and dynamic like us, to how to collaborate with them, and opportunities and mentorship growth opportunities likewise. And onboarding and training, this also will be talking by the Hosni. And company challenge, and ask about the challenge companies currently facing, right? And next step, what's the next step? For the finally ask about the next steps into the process, the timeline for the decision likewise. Okay. So let's conclude this before we move into the next session, into HR interview session. As we draw our decisions to close, so I invite you to reflect on your journey we have embarked upon today. So mastering technical interview isn't just about a showcasing technical pause, right? It's about weaving together of the preparation, confidence, and effective communication together. So we have delved into the interact facts of the interview success and uncovering the key that unlock the doors to your dream career. And so we began by understanding significance of presenting oneself well, and how firm handshake and warm smile likewise, and confident image to your so we delivered into the technical to face interview, and with the voice and self address, and we realized that interviewers are more than assessments. They are windows into your interpersonal skills and cultural fit and ability to unreal challenges, right? So our journey then led you us importance of researching company and position. So armed with your knowledge, your response and your experience, and the post question that reflects genuine interest that company missions and values. Yet journey is not solid. It is opportunity to interact, engage, and the inquiry. Being uncovered and asking thoughtful question are not only reflect your curiosity, but it's also showcase strategic thinking and eagerness to your contribute. As we conclude, remember that mastery is not an end of but continuous journey, right? Each interview, each experience is as you refine to learn and evolve. As you enter into the dynamic realm and technical interviews, carry with your wisdom you have shared today, and embrace your growth, stay resilient, and face challenges, and straightforward to the confident within your mastery. So thank for embarking on this journey with me today. So may your path be proved with success, and may you navigate into the skills and fitness that true masters. Thank you very much for you all, and have a great day.
Thank you, Mr. Uday,
Over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Uday.
Yeah, over to you.
Thank you for pointing out small points that we don't even recognize while we are going to the interview, and to help us mastering the interview, be a master of the interviews. So without further ado, let me invite Mr. Hosni Faroz to conduct the HR interview session. Mr. Hosni Faroz, the spotlight is yours.
Yes, hope I'm audible.
Yes, you are audible and visible now.
Yes. Uh, a good evening for everyone. And thanks for all the participants, who has taken their time, to join on a career day to ensure that they get their careers in straight and then to learn how they can face interviews and everything. So, not so I'm Hosni. I head the global talent acquisition for Fortune. We do a wider range of I would say interviews or recruitments for UK, US, ANZ, Canada, India. So we do a wide range in across the global. So what I'm trying to share here today is what are the things that we as HR expect from candidates, and then what are the challenges that we also face while we want to select certain candidates. So uh, gone are the days like that where HR was just a mediator, where they were asking questions related to the package and where you have worked. So those kind of questions which came are gone are the days now. Basically, right now, what happens is HR makes a critical impact on the decision which is taken to the hire. That is mainly because these days people focus on a lot of culture fits and everything with the growing market and with the technological front that people are moving in. So let me share my screen. Let me take you through the agenda that what we are trying to do today. So I'll tell you what are the things an interviewer will expect and what are the things that you need to get prepared. Because what the things that you need to focus also is like we don't get all five fingers as the same. So there are different candidates in different level. But what makes you the most suitable candidate for a position, even though sometimes you're not 100% technically sound, but what are the other aspects which can help you to get into that job and how that will improve your career. So that's the area that I'm going to focus. Where they are focused on basically about the technical aspects. So give me a moment for me to share my screen. Okay. Hope you all can see my screen.
Yes, Hosni, it's visible enough.
Sure, great. So it's about how we are facing an. Give me a minute. I'm just having a technical issue. Okay. So it's basically how we are going to face an interview. Interview is basically a major part that will decide your career, not only for the organization, but for you also. So let me start off with something like this. So it's not only an interview for you, it's yet again, you're doing an interview for the company as well. So you need to figure out whether this company will help you, will support you to go to your end goal. While the company also is looking at that, it's a choice that you need to make whether your end goal can be I mean, it's not you're going to stay for lifelong in a place, but can that particular organization help you to drive towards that goal? So always just keep in mind, it's not only that the company is having an interview to select you, but yes, you also need to have that interview to see whether it's your company or whether it's the place that you need to work. Because I would say 1/3 of your time on a daily basis, you're gonna spend in that particular organization. So it's basically your second home. So you need to be comfortable to grow your career in a place. So that's what you will be doing a research and you will be selecting the place. So let me take through the fundamentals. So the agenda today is going to be how will that initial phone screening is going to happen. So initially, as you all know, everyone will get a phone call. So we will take you through how you need to go through that phone screening, how to prepare you for a virtual interview, how to prepare for you for an in-person interview, types of questions that interview can, what you will be asked in an interview, And how are you going to overcome those questions? How are you going to answer those questions? Like in your own way. Like there's no standard way to answer interviews, but how you're going to bring out things in your own way. Because when we go with a standard answer, sometimes you may not be able to be 100% confident, but you should be able always to answer in a way that you're comfortable, and what to expect from the panel, what the panel would ask from you, those things. And then we have a STAR approach, which I'll explain again. So initial phone screening. So what happens is initial is like your CV would get shortlisted. Then a recruiter would start giving a call to you, and the person will ask certain details like, okay, we have received your CV, and like you have applied for this position. So what are the skills that you have? I saw that you had mentioned these technologies in your JD, in your CV. So what are the researches that you have done? This initial phone screening will happen. So it is very important where you talk clearly, and what you talk should match with your CV. Because what I have seen, like in my early times also, is certain people, when they talk over the phone, when the initial screening happen, it doesn't match with their CV. So to start off with your CV, so let's start off with the CV itself. When you're preparing the CV, prepare it in a way where you will be able to answer those questions in an interview. If not, if an interviewer or a recruiter picks something from your CV, if you're not able to answer that, definitely the recruiter or the interviewer will not cross-question you asking that you have mentioned this, but why aren't you telling? But there is a perception created in that person's mind saying, okay, this person has mentioned false details. That's a perception. I mean, everyone are humans. So what happens is, if you are not able to give a clarity on why you have mentioned those things in your CV, and you're not confident enough to answer those questions, that is the first red alert for HR perspective, where it says, okay, this is not the exact thing that the person has mentioned in the CV. It doesn't match with what he's talking. So that's the first red alert which might come. So always ensure what is going to your CV is 100% something that you all can confidently talk about. And then the next, when you're doing the phone screening, the phone interviews, definitely ask what is the mode of interview going to be. Sometimes the recruiter might not tell you. You'll say that I'll send an email and everything, but for sure, you ask about whether it's going to be an online interview or is it going to be like a physical interview. Those details definitely upfront itself get it clarified. And also about the interview panel. So the reason that why should we ask about the interview panel is to ensure that we do our preparation well. The moment that you know who's going to do the interview, we'll say, okay, XY person is interviewing. One person is a technical person. One person can be a HR person. So when you know that, I mean, there's LinkedIn now, you all can go and find out who this person is. You all will know what kind of technologies that technical person is using. On those grounds, you all will be able to gauge what type of questions also might come. Definitely a person who's really good in Node or React is not going to ask about .NET. So based on the position that you have applied also. So you all have to go through that people also, to ensure that when you face an interview, you're so comfortable because you know who that person is. Same with the HR person also. So you know about, okay, this person is going to be HR. So I have a mix of technical plus HR interview, which is going to happen. So you don't have any shock when you start facing an interview. As I said, HR has moved on, and HR is not a interviewer right now where they just do the mediator role. They ask questions which will make a decision about your culture fit. Where are you going to go into that company? Are you a leader? Are you a future leader? All these things are going to be derived from the HR interview. So it's very important that you know your panel, who are you talking to ensure that y'all are able to face the interview confidently. And then, yeah, the JD and the other details. So it's very important. Like, yes, you all know that this is the position that you applied, but just reconfirming it. Because sometimes what happens is your CV might get shortlisted for another position. So it's always good in case if the HR did not confirm you this is the position, to double confirm the position. Because if not, you might again have a shock when you face the interview. So always go through tell that, okay, this is the JD, this is the position that I applied. So I hope this is the position that I'm being interviewed. So get that clarity, talk to that person very confidently. And this will be the first hurdle for you the moment that you ask all these questions. Because always what happens is a recruiter has to send a summary to the interviewers saying that these are the pros and these are the cons of the candidate. So when you talk confidently and when you start asking these questions, a recruiter feels so comfortable and he gets that positive vibe towards you, because it shows that how interested are you in this job, and it shows how interested are you in the company. So always it's good to ask questions rather than waiting until the last moment for us to have shocks. So just ensure that you cover all these details in the initial phone screening, about asking about the interview details, the mode of interview, the interview panel, and the JD, and get the email confirmation. Even if it is a physical interview, the locations and everything, even if it's a virtual interview, do you definitely need the link and all those things. So that's about the initial phone screening, which basically a recruiter does. That's the first hurdle that you all have to pass out, because there are certain instances where the recruiter itself would reject a candidate based on this conversation. So what they can say is whatever you had told in your CV doesn't match when you're talking. You are not confident enough when you're talking. You are not detail oriented. So these kind of things can ensure that you don't go to the next round of interviews. So always be so comfortable and be so confident when you're talking. It's always fine if you're outside or if you're not in a position to talk, to tell back the recruiter, okay, I'm in this particular situation, can I call you back? That's always fine. It's not mandatory always to ensure that when the recruiter calls, you need to talk to the person. Based on your situation, you can tell that person, okay, can I call you at this time because I'm stuck with these things, which is really appreciated, rather than we giving half-baked answers when we are not in a comfortable position to talk. So always keep in mind, yet again emphasizing, the more that you talk confidently, the more that the interviewers and the recruiter would be confident on you to hire you to that particular organization. We'll say that the initial phone screening went well. So then you will have, we'll say it's a virtual interview that you're going to have. So the HR team would send you the email saying that, okay, this is going to be the time, this is going to be the day, and they will send you, this is going to be the interview. So how do you prepare for this interview? So ensure your connectivity is very stable, because that's one thing that, okay, a common thing that we've seen these days, where they are not prepared, like the connectivity. If you know there is a connectivity problem in the place that you're kind of taking this call, it's always better to change the location, because that's the first impression that you're creating to the interview panel. And also the dress code. So yes, I know, I think the world has been changing. So techies are like more into casual and everything, but still, even the casual, it should be in a way it is presentable. Because if you are not presentable, number one thing the interviewer would think is, how can I present this person to my overseas client? So the reason I'm telling that is, you all should know 95% of the Sri Lankan IT sector is serving foreign clients, not the local clients. So you should definitely be able to be presentable to those foreign clients. So your dress code, the way that you present yourself in the interview, everything matters, because you may know the best technical skill, you may have the best technical skill, but if you are not presentable to the client, then that's definitely a negative point, because the client will definitely look at those things, how their partner is presenting their employees. So that's one thing. How do you present yourself in the virtual interview? And always ensure that you check your audio and video connection. So it's always better you log in around 5-10 minutes prior and check both your audio and video, just to ensure that your nothing goes wrong in between. So that connects again for me to say that log in early, that you need to log in early to ensure that your audio video is also correct and your connectivity also is stable. And also the location, like don't get into places where like there are too many noises and that you're not comfortable to talk, because sometimes when you're facing an interview, you may have to talk certain things which you might not be comfortable, because some people take calls maybe on a cafe. It's always fine to take on a cafe and everything, but sit in a place where you're comfortable to answer those questions. Because if you're not comfortable to answer those questions at that particular moment, the interviewer or the HR will not know what is your situation, because they'll not be able to gauge that situation. But it will be with your answers and with your reactions, they might feel that you're not comfortable or you're not confident enough. Don't create that perception to the interviewer or the HR side, because you cannot always explain yourself. Like if you're not comfortable talking about certain thing because the location is not suiting you, there's no way that you can pass that message to an interviewer. So even if you pass that message to an interviewer, it's like you've not been ready for that particular interview. So always choose your location wisely. As I said, ensure that your connectivity is stable, your dress code should be perfectly like fine, and your audio video should be perfectly fine, and ensure that you log in early and ensure that your phone is on silent. The reason being, we all get calls, we all get regular calls and everything. So it's always what happens on that particular aspect is you show how priority is this interview for you when you put your phone on silent and everything. But if your phone is not on silent and you have to meddle with your phone when you get calls, it shows the priority that you give in towards that interview. So these are the small things that we might not consider on certain times, but which matters a lot, because these small dots connect a lot to an organization. Because these days organizations do not only talk about the technical skills, they talk about how fit can you be for their culture, how can you grow within that organization, what the company can give you to ensure that you professionally and personally grow in your life. So these are certain aspects the evolving organization are looking at, and what they look in return is what is the priority that you give. Do you give priority for an interview? Do you give priority to your work? Do you give the priority about the organization when it comes to certain aspects? So this preparation is very much important before an interview, because it shows about how keen are you to get this job. Next, like how to prepare, like if it's a physical interview. So it is rare that people do have physical interview these days, but yet again, it's always good to know how we are going to get prepared for the physical interview as well. As I said, always arrive early to ensure that you don't, like on your way, you don't miss anything, or when you don't have parking, if there's an issue. So those kind of external factors can delay your interview. So always ensure at least 15 minutes prior you're at that particular place where you can check for your parking and everything, and you will be on time for the interview. And always keep the company informed about your this thing as well, saying that you're basically going to get into this interview and you'll be on time. It's always better that you talk about. Okay, guys, I'm hopefully that I'm clearly audible. Am I?
Yes, you're visible and audible enough.
Okay. So any questions that you all have up to now?
No, I guess. And there will be a Q&A session at the end. So
Okay. No worries. Okay. So these are the type of questions that you will be facing in an interview. So the first question, I mean, it's a general question most of the people ask is, tell me about yourself. So since you all are like starting your career and starting from a graduate level, always it's good to talk about what you have been doing in your academics and what are the extracurricular activities that you have been doing. And it's always important, okay, if you have done any sports, you talking about those sports, and then what are your interests as well. It can be on like certain what do you call extracurricular activities that you're interested in. It may be some technical things that you're interested in. So for example, we'll say if you are a person who is doing Node and .NET, I'm just giving examples on technical terms, or maybe you're doing something on AWS or something, but you have interest in learning other languages, other frameworks as well. So put that also into this when you're talking about yourself, saying that your academics are on this, you have done all these researchers based on this and everything, but yet again you're interested in these areas also, which is definitely an alarm for the interviewers, saying that okay, there is this person has an interest in doing these things also. So let me tell why I am telling to talk about those things as well. Number one, all the interview summaries or all the things that is being discussed in an interview is summarized and it is documented. Every interview with the interviewer or maybe the technical interviewer and the HR interviewer, everything is summarized and documented. So in case, we'll say if you did not get a job at this particular moment, whatever the things that you spoke during that interview, saying what are the interests that you have and everything, will result you in the future as well sometimes. Because when a recruiter goes through the summaries, thinking about, okay, I want a person on handling these frameworks. If you had spoken about your interest, yes, then they will start considering you as well. So it's always better to tell about your interest when it comes on technical terms and everything, also about your personal interest as well. So it gives a elaborative way on who you are personally and who you are professionally. So it's always good to talk about that. So the other main question is, how do you describe yourself? So majority of the people again talks about yourself. It is not about telling about yourself, but how you describe yourself is completely a different question. How you describe yourself is, okay, if I'm talking about me, I'm working at Fortune, I'm a recruiter, I'm heading the global talent acquisition. That is about me. But how I describe myself is how I'm interested in this particular job or particular my personal stuff. So how I describe myself is I'm an end-to-end recruiter. I know how to recruit IT talent. I know how to go to the universities and headhunt people. I know how to go and manage a career fair. And I'm a person who likes cricket, or I follow rugby. So that is how you describe yourself. About yourself is what you have done, what you want to do and everything. But describing is like what is within you, what is your desires, where do you want to be. So that's how you describe about yourself. So describing about yourself will again give a huge impact to the will give a huge impact to the interviewers, because they start getting more things about you. They'll start gauging you a lot, saying that okay, there are, because always keep in your mind, interviewers doesn't interview just for one position. When a technical person is interviewing, he might have multiple position in his head. When an HR person is doing the interview, that HR person have multiple position in their organization. So the way that you describe yourself, the way that you show who you are, can plot you into, if it is not this position, it can plot you into any other position. So it's always important the impact that you make in that interview. So the other things, like what makes you unique. So as I said, you need to talk about these kind of things in your own way. There is no way, a common thing that you can always talk about. And it is not that you're talking like a Google answer, because I've seen majority doing that Google answer, which like, since interviewers do a lot of interviews, they also know whether it's a Google answer or what it is about. But when you're sometimes the answer that you're giving might not be the perfect answer. But if it is something coming from you, it's always better than a Google answer or a ChatGPT. Let's move into this ChatGPT. So a ChatGPT answer, if it is coming within yourself, it might not be the perfect answer, but still we start valuing it because you have given that thought process to describe or come out with your own answer. So how do you think that you can answer what makes you unique? So a lot of people talk about saying that okay, I'm a very good team player, that makes me unique, where I will be able to like get my team together and everything. Okay, that's not unique. That people might, a lot of people might have, most people have it, but what is the personal touch that you think that the organization can help? You have some traits within you where it will help you and the organization. So that is what you need to think about and combine about. Always when you're talking about why you are unique, always try to relate it with a job. Now, for example, we'll say, okay, if I have something unique where, okay, we'll say your uniqueness is you don't get panic at any given situation. You're a cool head. So though you have a lot of things in your plate, you have a very cool head. That can be something very unique to you because you don't see that in majority of the people where you're a cool head. So how are you going to relate that to a job when you're answering? So what you can say is, because I'm a cool head person, when I get client escalations or when I get issues from others, I think I can handle it in a better way because I do not get panic and try to get into like solutions immediately. I think about what we are going to do and how we can overcome this. So likewise, always try to plug these two answers, where you like merge the answers, saying that okay, this is what I'm unique about, and this is how it has helped me onto my personal life, and I think this is how it can help an organization. So you're not particularly going to talk about the organization that you're facing the interview, but what you're doing is you're talking about the whatever the organization, it might help in this way. So it's just the overall idea that you're giving to the interviewers, saying that okay, I've thought about what is unique about me, and I've thought about the industry, which is definitely a plus point. And the other question, why do you want to work here? So that's why it's always important, as I said, before you face an interview, you need to do the background search about who are the interviewers, what is this company, and what are they doing. So it's very important that you always do that, because every company has their own D&I initiatives. D&I is diversity and inclusion. So their employee value propositions, about their CSR activities, everything is included in their website. Or you may even, if you do certain researches when you to talking to certain people, you get to know. So the reason why do they ask about why do you want to work here is to always see what is the background search that you have done. And are you genuinely interested in this organization? And are you genuinely prepared to do this session or the interview? That is why they ask about it. I have seen 90% of the people talk about general information. Now, if you take Fortitude, what they talk about is, okay, they are a ERP implementation company, they have their software engineering arm, and they are in these locations. Those are generic ones. So right now, I'm telling you how I'm going to impress your interviewers. How are you going to impress these people saying, no, I know better than what is there in your website. So always go to their LinkedIn page, talk about their CSR activities, talk about the certain things that they have done to the society. You can tell. So for example, will say when a company does a CSR activity like helping schools, you say that relates to my value because I want people to get educated so that I can contribute to what I got from the society. So you can relate that saying that, okay, this is why I need to work here. That is the non-technical part that what you talk about. But how do you relate it to your job, the technical part? You do the research. Okay, these are the frameworks. These are the languages that this company is working. So what you can say is, I'm also very strong in these languages. So I need an organization which is very strong in implementing these projects with these languages, which will help me to grow in my career. And if it is a global organization, and you can say, I want the global exposure. I want to always be in the trend. So these are the things that you relate to about the company, and then you talk about what you want to do. So when they ask about why do you want to work here, you talk about the expertise the company has. While you're talking about the expertise that the company has, you slowly plug in your expertise. You're talking about yourself again. So again, what you're doing is you're doing your own marketing. Always remember, interview is yet again a marketing thing. You need to market yourself. The person who markets themselves way better gets selected. So you need to always be presentable and market yourself. But how do you do that is very important. So how do you do it? You talk about the company. While you're talking about why you want to work here, you market yourself also, where you say, okay, my thought process and the company thought process is aligned. So I think I have a better future in this organization. The interviewers start thinking, okay, you have done a very good background search, and you know how to relate these technical languages to the job role that you're going to do. The same thing comes about the job role. So when you're combining these and you're talking about the job role, you're showing the interviewer that you have gone through the job role very well. So that's why I'm very interested in this. Let me give you a small story what happened on I would say a technical person itself. So we had two people where one was like technically very sound. He was very good. If you give him the job, he'll get it done for sure. And then but he was not a person where you can present or a marketable person. But yet again, we had another candidate who's, I would say, 80% technically sound, but had the other aspects also, where he was able to market himself, where he was able to present himself to get the job done. We went to the 80% person. It's not because that that person did a marketing. Yes, the marketing is important, but apart from the technical skills, as I said, it is always important how you're going to present yourself to the client. You need to convince the client, you need to talk to the client, you need to resolve problems of the client. So how do you convince that is the way that you present yourself and market yourself in front of the client. And then the reason that we went to the other person is because we thought he can be a leader in the future. He can develop his technical knowledge, the rest of the 20%, but he has his other, like I would say, soft skills, where he can become a very big asset to the organization and he can become a leader in maybe 6-7 years. So this is the importance on how you present yourself and how when you do the research about the company and you relate that company details to your technical expertise. So rest of the interview, the questions are like, what motivates you, what's passionate about you. Those, yet again, don't have common answers or ChatGPT answers. Even if it is an answer, as I said, which is half-baked, or you're not, sometimes it might not be the best answer that you're giving, but if it is coming within from you, and if it is like something that you're talking about yourself and you're relating it to a situation, it's perfectly fine, because the interviewers also will understand that, because everyone uses ChatGPT these days, so they also know what are the ChatGPT answers can be. So when it comes within yourself, they start admiring and they start like appreciating that, even if it is not a fully convincing answer. So always ensure that you talk your language in your own way. So the other question is like, what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses? Again, the same point I'm emphasizing, don't go into common answers. The major mistakes that I see basically is when you ask about the strength, they talk about teamwork, they talk about, okay, they are good in Excel or they are good in their technical skills and everything. It is not what we are looking for. What is the strength apart from that? What are the strengths that which will help for you to do this job? Your mental stability, how strong are you mentally? How can you, like, what are the situations that you think that you can handle pressure? What are the situations that you think that you can put your critical thinking into place? Those are the things that you need to talk, not about teamwork, not about your leadership skills, like saying that, okay, I have done these leadership things. You can talk about it, but that, I would say, that is not the best answer. It's about the answer that the company is requiring is how your strengths can help the organization to go to the next level, and what are the weaknesses that the company can help you to take you to the next level. So these are the two critical areas that the company is focusing. So if you're talking about those things relating to the organization and the job role, you're presenting yourself about yourself and you're marketing about yourself. So as I said, for all these set of questions for you to answer, you definitely need to do the research about the organization, about certain key people that you're going to meet, and then yet again about the job role. These three is really important for you to get to answer all these questions, because as I said, always relate your answer, bringing some example from the company, telling that, okay, you all have these things. I also match, my values also match for these things, X, Y, Z things. So that's the reason that I have applied here, which will make the interviewers really impressed. Okay, going into my next slide. So what are the interview skills? So as I said, I think I covered the majority here. Like before the interview, do the self-preparation, go through the JD, like clarify certain things, have the clarity on, note down certain things if you're not clear about. Because there can be, in the JD, there can be certain things where you think that, okay, you're not clear about. So note down those things. It's always better to ask those during an interview. And again, when I said research about the company, that is very much important in how you're going to take this interview forward, because it shows how kind of like interested you are in the job, how interested you are in this role, and what is the confident level that you can give to the interviewers saying that you will perform this job. Because as I said, we don't know how technically sound are you. They may give you a technical evaluation, everything, but we from an interview, you always will not be able to 100% get that idea whether you'll be able to put those in place when things are required, your technical skills. So these kind of things, the way that you present yourself, talking about how important the company attributes are and everything, will give them the idea how you're going to perform in your job along with the technical skill. So that's why the research is more important, and mastering your emotions. So there can be certain questions where you're not clear, like somehow manage your facial reactions. Some people show disappointment on certain things. Some people show like where they're clueless. It shows in your face. When a technical question is asked, some people react in a way that they are clueless about that. Don't show that in your face. It's very important how you how present you are in the interview, and then how you present yourself with your emotions. There can be answers where you don't know. I mean, everyone, it's not, we do not expect everyone to know all the answers. But it's honestly good to tell, okay, I've not touched upon this, or I've not got exposed to this, but I know this. I've done the basics, but I've not gone in depth. That answer is much more better than like telling something else which might completely not relate the question. Because what we have commonly seen is when a person doesn't know about the answer for the X question, they completely answer a different question. They try to take the interviewers like a tour. Basically, it's a tour that they go all over, and they do not answer the question. Since these interviewers have been doing interviews, they know why are you taking us on a ride. So it's always better, as I said, to tell, okay, I am not comfortable in this. I have not done these areas, or I have not touched upon these areas, but these are the basics that I know about that. That is, the interviewers will definitely appreciate it, because you have spoken yet again about what you know and what are the areas that you require uh, training and development. So during the interview, it's always, as I said, it's always important how you communicate. Your communication should be very clear. Don't get panicked. When the moment that you get panicked, you start to like your face will show it, the way that you talk will show it. You might not give the proper answers. So communication and warm greeting, it's very much important, because how an interviewer is going to judge you, or how he thinks that you're going to come, is basically from the answers that you give. So it's communication. If you do not communicate that properly, it's very difficult for them to take you through to the next level. Um, and the other important thing I would say is maintaining your positive body language. So always show them you're always prepared. You're always like you're willing to take this challenge, and like you should show that, okay, your body language is not lethargic. That's very much important. And ensure that you listen and ask questions. As I said, before the interview, if you had jot down your questions, saying that these are the areas which is not clear to you, this will help for you to get those things cleared during an interview. And the more that you listen, sometimes always what an interviewer does is they explain about the job. Sometimes you might get those answers clear, but sometimes you might not. So it's always important you have your notes, and you may ask questions from the interviewer saying, okay, I have few clarifications. Can you clarify these things to me? Okay, we'll say you have spoken about .NET and Node on the JD, but yet again you have spoken about few more other frameworks as well. So does it mean that these frameworks are mandatory, or is it a training need that you all are going to give? I'm just giving examples. So then they will also understand that you have gone well through the JD, and then you're clear about what you're going to come and do in this organization. That gives a very clear mindset to the interviewer, saying that you're very interested. So always listen well and ensure that you ask a question. So after the interview, as I said, you need to follow up with your interviewer, because you will have either their number or you will have their email address. You can always follow up, and then you can ask what went wrong and what are the things that you can improve. Definitely the interviewer would give you feedback on what went wrong. This is the reason that I told you need to know who's your interviewer even prior to the interview, because then you will know who to go when the interview did not go well. So all what I spoke before will connect you until the joining of that organization, or if you do not get that chance, to get yourself betterment, to ensure that you face the next interview well. So it's always important how you prepare, how do you get your notes done, how do you get to know about the people who are doing the interview, to ensure you either do the interview well here, or at least to ensure that you can improve certain things and do the interview after. So what can you expect from the panel? So definitely, they will, I mean, it's always better when you call by their name when they greet you, because if it's an online interview or a physical interview, it's always better that you always say, okay, if it's me, you can say, hi, Hosni. That gives a very pleasant start to the conversation. Because just imagine, rather than you waiting a person to introduce yourself, since you have done the research, you directly say, hi, Hosni, good afternoon. That gives a positive vibe for the interviewer to start it with a positive vibe. So it's always do the research, remember your interviewers. Bring the required materials. If it's a physical interview, it's always better to bring your CV. But since almost everything is online, that will not be required. Engage with your interviewer equally. It's not a session where the interviewer only is going to talk. You need to talk. You need to get things clarified. That's the reason on the previous slide I spoke about noting down your questions from the JD or maybe from the company about the role. Always ensure that you engage well. These are the traits that you show to an interview, saying that you can be taken to the next level. You will be a leader in that organization. You will be a good developer. You will be a good person to introduce to the client. These are the things that will give them certain aspects to their head to put you through to the next round of interviews. And always be prepared for follow-up questions. Because as I said, they will definitely question you from the things that you have put in your CV. From the things that you spoke about. If it is technical, they might follow up with your technical questions. If it is an HR thing, they might follow up with certain things that you have done. They might ask you a cross question. So ensure that you're well prepared to answer those cross questions as well. But it is okay to take time and clarify those things also if you don't understand. If you did not get the question, if it is an issue, if you want that to be elaborated or clarified, it's always okay to tell the interviewer, no, excuse me, I did not get that point. Can you tell me about that? Or can you again elaborate about that question? That brings you more time. When the question is asked again, that brings you more time to again think about your answer. So these are the small tips how you buy time also on certain things. Because sometimes there are certain questions that you will not expect suddenly. It might come from nowhere. So it might take you a split second or 30 seconds or 1 minute to answer that question or prepare yourself for that question. So it's always better to tell that person, okay, would you mind elaborating that question? Or is it this that you are referring to? When they are explaining, you can always prepare your answer within your head. So the moment that they stop explaining, you're ready with your answer. So these are the small things that you'll have to focus as well. Take a conversational and honest, confident approach. be open in certain things. Like if you think that you cannot work, like some people are very honest saying that they can't come to office. Some people say, okay, I can't work from home. So those kind of areas, be honest and give your answer to them when they ask about it, because as I said, it is not only the company is choosing you, but you're also choosing the company. 1/3 of your time on a day is spent in that organization with the people in that organization. So you should be very comfortable working there. It's not only the technical things that you contribute, it contributes to your personal life. It contributes to your personal health, your mental well-being. A job contributes a lot of things other than your income. If you're very stressed, if you're very like, if the culture of the company, if the what do you call certain things, values of the company is not matching your values, you need to take a note of that also. For you to take a note of that, you need to be very honest in what you're talking with that organization, and you need to be confident also whether you're going to take this job or not. You may need that job at that particular moment, but if the values and the culture is not fitting you, in 3 months you might hate your career, and that can be a break in your career. So always be wise. As I said, the companies or the organization are very wise in choosing the people. Like that, the candidates also should be very wise when they choose their organization. Every person is different. Some people, the way that the culture that they want is different, the values that they value is different. So it's always good to know about those things and make a decision whether you're joining or not. So this is the star approach that we thought about. Situation. When you're answering certain questions, keep a situation in your head. Think about a situation that you have gone through, and then try to explain that situation. If they ask about a critical thinking question, you say it's about a critical thinking question. Think about an actual situation where you implemented your critical thinking. And then task. Access the task which cropped in this situation. What did you do? What are the things that you did to overcome that, to tell that this is a critical thinking situation, and what is the issue which came? What are the things that you did, which talks about the action? So you need to, when you're giving that answer, always keep a situation in your mind. Think about that situation. What did you do in that situation? And what are the things that you did to fix that problem? And what is the end result which came? So it's always important you cover these 4 areas. If it is a teamwork question, if they ask about a teamwork question, again, think about the situation. What did you do to talk about the teamwork? And what is the actions that you did, your colleagues did, and as a team, what did you all do? And what did it result? Okay, it would have resulted in a great success. It can be a great failure. It resulted in this, and what is your learning in that? That is what you need to always talk about. So I think that is about my session. I hope it was useful for you all. If you have any questions, you can ask now, where I can answer those questions as well.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Hosni, for that, showing us how to master interview by being unique, be yourself, and marketing yourself, and most importantly, be ready for anything that the interviewer asks for. And we would like to express our sincere appreciation to our esteemed keynote speakers for sharing their invaluable insight and making our event truly exceptional. So moving on to the Q&A session. Now it's time for the audience to raise their questions. You can put your questions in the chat box or unmute yourself and ask the questions. So my first questions will be going present to Mr. Uday. Mr. Uday, so
Yes, Debalka.
yes, the first question is, are there any resources or practice platforms you recommended for improving technical interview skills?
Yeah, definitely. So as I said, with my session, there may be some kind of online platform, kind of hacker rank and code signals and Greek for Geeks and lead course. They are the platforms. I will put those on the chat window as well. So by using those kind of platform, you can crack your code and you can practice your code. And your YouTube is a majorly, that's a kind of a huge the source for tuitions and the technical interview questions. Yeah, those are the things we can use. I will put those into chat window as well.
The second question, any method we can use to handle coding challenges under time constraints?
Yeah, time constraints. So as I said, so we have some limited time since within the interview frame, right? So first you have to understand the problem statement, right? So as I said, so by understanding your problem statement, then you have to break it down into small tasks, small components to your problem, right? Then you have to plan your approach, right? So then after that, you have to begin with your each components. You have made break it down to the small small components, right? Then once you solve each by each, then you can practice your problem solving skills. So before you go into the interview, and so to manage your time, so you have to keep some kind of a stopwatch or something to allocate a specific amounts of time, different parts of your problem. And yeah, that are the some practices you can use. And the major thing is you have to practice you have to test your code, right? Familiarize yourself common coding patterns and the problem solving techniques, either way from dynamic programming or string manipulation likewise. And also you have to stay calm and focused, right? So maintaining your focus with your problem solvings, right? You have to stay calm and focused. And time management tool, as I said, timer or stopwatch, you can keep a track of your time during the challenge. And you have to divide your time into the different phases as you phase into the different component of your problems statement. And finally, so before you go into, you have to practice your mock interviews, right? Those are the things you can face your challenges on the time limit constraint.
The last question for Mr. Uday. Sometimes in a technical interview, they ask unfamiliar technical questions. Is there any method we can come up with an optimal solution if we don't know the exact answer?
Yeah, so in that case, you have to clarify the question from the interviewer, right? So you have to ask some hints and ask some breaking down the problems into a small problem or your familiar with methods, and you discuss your thoughtful process and start with some asking hints, and so optimize your basic solutions they have given, likewise, and time management things. And also you have to stay calm and confident, but you have to know with your technical background. And also you have to learn something from your experience as well, right? When it comes to challenging point, because it's always not within the interview session, actually it's also always comes within the real problem statement as well. When you're working as an employee with your organization, it is a challenging point. It's a problem status which is come as a unknown situations, right? It's not always come with a familiar situation when you are working with your organization, right? Those are some steps.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Uday, there's one question for you from audience, is there
Mhm.
any platforms to practice mock interviews?
Yeah, practice something. Yeah. So first you have to positive and talk yourself, right? And visualize your things, as I said. So visualizing things uh, to before you doing some mock interviews. So I will share something, some kind of a platforms to you to expert with the mock interviews as well. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Uday. So my next three questions will be presenting to Mr. Feroz. Uh, Mr. Feroz.
Yes,
Hi. Okay, the first question, is there any way that I can showcase my soft skills during an interview?
yes, definitely. And that soft skills is very important as well on those things. Like, that's the reason I said, like, when you're talking of, when you do the research about the company, about certain things about the company and what they do, you can always relate your soft skills towards that. So you're talking of, if your soft skill is about like you're a good communicator or you're good in presentation skills, so you always talk about that by comparing to your uh, organization itself. So you need to build that answer, because when they ask about what do you know about the company or what do you know about the job role, it's always what you do is it's your answer. You need to build your answer. So you talk about a certain situation and you somehow plug in your soft skills there. So for example, we'll say being an HR, or we'll say for the technical component. So what they might ask is, how familiar, how good are you to go and face the client in terms of giving technical expertise? That's one question that might come, because you need to go and face the customer. So you talk about your technical expertise, saying that, okay, I'm very good in my these frameworks, these languages. More than that, I'm a good presenter. My communication skills are very good. I'm like very comfortable talking to even strangers. So what you do is you plug in your technical skills to the questions along with your soft skills. So it's always how you interpret your answer.
Okay. Next question. Any good method to handle salary negotiation discussions during the interview process?
Definitely. So what happens is now the things have evolved. The salary negotiation part majorly does not happen on a interview now these days. So what normally an HR does is they talk about what is your current expectation, your current and your expectation. So always when you do, once they talk about your negotiations, okay, so what always you can talk about is like, what are the skills that you have? When they negotiate about it, you can say, okay, these are the things, skills that I have. So that is the reason my current organization. Okay, there's two ways now. Since there are fresh graduates, you might not be able to sometimes negotiate salary. I'll be honest with you. I don't want to just give answers that will impress you, because you're starting your career. So every organization has a frame of package that they give for beginners in the career. But yet again, if they see that you're a good resource, they'll definitely recommend you for the next level within the 6 months, within the next 6 months. But okay, let's say you're an experienced person where the HR is negotiating certain salaries, but there is your negotiation skill which is going to come in. So you talk about your skill that you have currently and what is the value that you have in your previous organization, and you always talk numbers. So you can talk when they're negotiating, you can talk about your personal commitment, saying that this is the reason that I'm asking this amount, and talking about the other benefits that you have. So always compare the benefits that the current company gives you and the other company that you're going to, which gives you. So then you are in a better position when you talk numbers, where you'll be able to always negotiate well. Keep the numbers in your mind very well, and the benefits that both organization provides you, and that will be the best way that you can negotiate.
Uh, Final question, Mr. Feroz. How can I explain my employment gap? Is it really matters in an interview? How can it effect to the recruitment process?
It in the current context in Sri Lanka, things are changing. Earlier, it was a very like when you have an employment gap, it was a very big thing. Like people said, no, either you have been terminated. There were a lot of things going on. But now things are getting much more better. So that's what I was saying. Like when you're choosing your place, always look at the culture, always look at the place or what their values is. So it depends why your employment gap was. Based on that, only your answer is going to, how are you going to answer is going to be given. So in case if you're terminated, you need to be honest, saying that, okay, the expectation of myself and then my employer did not match. So I had to step down. But if you did not really like the culture and the values were not matching your values, then again, you can explain about your culture and value. You can give examples. Because nowadays people appreciate it. The interviewers really appreciate it because you're being upfront and you're being bold. And then they value that because if that doesn't match their culture, they also be upfront. You don't want to fall in from one trouble to another trouble. So if you say, okay, this is why I resigned, I didn't like that culture, I didn't value that pace, I didn't have work-life balance, I wanted more time to spend with my family, be honest, because that is one of the reasons that you don't want to go and fall into a same place again. In 3 months, you'll have another gap. So be honest with them and ask them, is this the same situation in your organization or is it better? So always the career gap is, I would say 60% is not an issue in Sri Lanka right now, but yes, 40% of certain companies look at that because they're still looking at saying that, okay, the company did not want this person. But the better answer would be to give the honest feedback. Why didn't you think that you wanted to work in that organization? And you give your expectation to these people. These are the expected level that I want to work with, which will give them a real clarity on why you had that gap, and your honest answer will be much appreciated.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Feroz, and thank you for clearing all the doubts of the audience. Once again, we would like to express our gratitude to Mr. Feroz and Chaturanga for conducting this highly productive and enlightening session. On behalf of the StudPro 6.0 Organizing Committee, we would like to present you with this digital token of appreciation. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Malcolm. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Now, I would like to invite Mr. Ravidu Achige to deliver the vote of thanks.
Hello, am I audible, Diwakar?
Yes, you are audible enough, Mr. Ravidu.
Okay, hold on, let me turn on my. All right, so good evening, everyone. First things first, I'd like to extend my sincere appreciation to our distinguished speakers, Mr. Uday Chaturanga and Mr. Hosni Feroz. Your valuable insights and guidance have undoubtedly enriched our understanding of job interviews in the computing and engineering domains. I also want to thank the efforts of the organizing committee of StudPro 6.0 for making this session a possibility. Lastly, a big thank you to all our attendees. We look forward to your continued engagement and hope to bring you more informative sessions in the future. Thank you once again to everyone, and best wishes on your career journey for all of us at StudPro.
Thank you, Ravidu. Before we conclude the session, I would like to invite everyone to switch on their cameras to join us for the virtual photograph. Does someone need more time to turn on the cameras?
Yeah, Dimarka will be give everyone more time. Okay, so I think that's about everyone. Let's take it further.
Okay, everyone, say cheese. Okay, once again. Okay, thank you very much. It was indeed great evening with these two amazing personalities who took us on a deep dive into the art of interview mastering. As we create the foundation to create a sensational punch, we at Studpro 6.0 guarantee you that this journey will be worthwhile for a lifetime. Thank you for marking your presence today and do look forward to the amazing array of speakers in lineup to help you succeed your future career paths. Have a pleasant evening. I am Dimak Rainer Veera, signing off.